Okay, it's April the 17th, it's 5:15 a.m. and this is supermushmouse. I'm looking at Orion visually. It's facing me, meaning it's facing north. The three stars in the middle there I'm talking about, that look like the pyramids of Giza. So, used to be called the constellation of Hercules, and the three stars used to be called the belt of Hercules when the Greeks, controlled the world. But since the Romans took over, they changed all the names of the gods and even the stars. So, according to the Roman name, it's called Orion, but according to the Greeks, it's Hercules. So I like that name better. Okay, so right now I'm at like 50x, and because of all the light all around me down here on the ground, it's hard to see the stars in Orion, even though I can visually see them. But as soon as I move in closer with the lens, they'll show up. At least, hopefully, yeah. Okay. This is the one in the dead center of the constellation. I'm just going to line it up so that I don't have to play around with the camera too much, because I just want to show it real quick. Okay. So this is what that star looks like at 175x. Okay, it's just a little dot. Should have brought my glasses out. Okay, what I'm going to do is, once you look at that for a minute, I'm going to go get my glasses. Okay, I'm back. I have my glasses. You can see it's traveling because the world is, the Earth is turning counterclockwise, and when you get close to the star, that also travels. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about how many X zoom I'm at, because right now I'm going to have trouble just adjusting the camera to stay in the right position. Okay, I gotta hold it on the start. Okay, when it's red like this, that means that, and the yellow, that's the nucleus. Okay, that means that it's at a lower frequency vibrations rate, and also that its velocity is lower around the nucleus, even though the orbs on the outside are going very fast. Okay, so the more red, the lower the frequency, and the more yellow, the lower the frequency. When it's hot white, that's when the frequency is very high. Okay, so what I see is yellow and red, so that means tonight the frequency is lower than normal. And I mean normal for a star. This size, this is a very large star. It's one of the larger ones in Orion. Okay, I just want you to look at how fast it's moving anyway. And the movement is counterclockwise. The orbs are going around the nucleus counterclockwise. They're going inside the nucleus counterclockwise. And they're going outside of the nucleus in the bigger cluster there, the parent cluster, also counterclockwise. Just going to move back to show that. I gotta move just a little bit closer. Okay. I don't know how well you can see that, but if I was to lighten that up a little bit, you'll see that all the orbs are going counterclockwise around that nucleus, and then when you go out like over here, you see that they're doing the same thing. Okay, they're all moving counterclockwise, but in many different directions. It's all counterclockwise movement in a multidimensional space, and this is the way they, this is just the way they are. Okay, you see how many orbs there are? And this is like in space, away from the star. But it's still part of that larger parent cluster that the star belongs to and that created that star. So this is all living organisms. Okay, they're all energy organisms, but they're still living organisms. They're just in a different state. And that's very important to realize, that there are other organisms that live in a different state altogether than what we're used to. Like, this is not a state of matter, this is a state of energy. And also the dimensional aspect of it is that this is a multidimensional space rather than a three-dimensional space. Okay, although you can argue that a three-dimensional space is a multidimensional space, but it's not multidimensional enough to the kind of space, the multidimensional space I'm speaking about right now. This is an innumerable number of dimensions. There's no limit to how many, and all these organisms just exist in all of them. So that's the basic difference between, like, our reality and our universe and theirs. Okay, so they don't have the same concept at all about what reality is, although they're very well aware of our reality because they're here in this reality as well. They're all around us. You know, they're on the ground, they're under the ground, they're in the water. They're very at home in the water, by the way. And they're in the air. They're at home in the air as well. So there's no place that these things are not. And being able to shapeshift and also transform themselves from an energy state into a material state, they're able to mimic or just assume another organism, whether we've ever seen that organism or not. Some organisms, shapes they assume are very familiar to us, and they don't always have to be animate. They could be inanimate. it could be a rock, a tree, a piece of wood, just something on the ground, like a thrown away paper or something like that. Or they could be, like an ant, a bug of any sort. I mean, I've been attacked by them, and they were like spiders and wasps and even a fly, four-winged fly. So, and also that wasp that attacked me, that was the size of a page of paper, was, a four-winged wasp. I've never seen one like it before. That was a dangerous one, because I barely got it off of me. It was just out to get me. And so were those spiders the last time. They were out to get me. They were all set up all around me, where I would come out and, just be a target. Because these things know what they're doing. They're very intelligent, regardless of how small or how large they are. I mean, obviously, the larger they are, the more intelligent they are, because they're all cluster organisms. And a larger cluster has more of them, so there's more minds to, contrive all these, if you want to call them attacks or strategies, whatever you want to call it. But even the smallest of the orbs is a cluster of even smaller orbs that you can't even see. So it's all like a cluster within a cluster within a cluster within a cluster, and it just goes indefinitely, either to a larger scale or a smaller scale. It doesn't really matter the scale. The point is they're all cluster organisms, and the more of them there are, the more intelligent they are, because they work very well together, and they combine instantaneously everything they know. Once they join a cluster, all the clusters just cooperate together, and I'm talking about the orbs as clusters. They all cooperate together instantaneously, so they know like what an orb here on Earth knows, an orb on that star knows. So an orb here on Earth is like probably right next to me, or an orb cluster that's very small that's here observing me taking these this video. That star knows about it, because the information travels very fast through the medium, which is all them. Like from here to that star is all orbs, and that's how the energy or the information energy is transferred from one place to another, not just within our universe, but throughout the entire cosmos. We have to make a distinction between the universe and the cosmos. Our universe is like all the, different solar systems, and different galaxies and all that compose or make up our universe. Excuse me. But the cosmos is more than that. The cosmos is all the universes together. And there are many universes. It's like there's no way to count them. There's so many. And just like in our universe, there's so many different things, there's no way to count how many. And no one really knows how many. And we don't really know very much about anything, especially when it comes to space, or stars, or even our own solar system. We don't even know everything about our planet. We don't know anything about what's under the ocean, let alone what's underground, deep underground. These are all speculations and, people's theories, but none of them have come really fully true, or some have not been proven yet, and this is all just talk. I'm not here to talk as much as I'm here to show. So here, this is what a star looks like. Okay, and all those orbs around it are very real, and they're huge. And that star is even larger. But that star is just a little nucleus in a humongous cluster where it serves as like an energy dynamo that recycles orbs that are low on energy and spits them out fully charged. And the way it does that is through electromagnetic force, electromagnetic fields, spin velocity, opposition of charges, positive and negative, and it's all electromagnetic. And the other way things like that work is by compression, because that large cluster compresses all that energy into that star to create the nucleus and hold it together. Velocity, because you need a high degree of velocity or very high speed to, have the charges conflict enough to create that much energy. Excuse me. And this is not nuclear energy, as the scientists say. This is electromagnetic energy, which is more powerful than nuclear, because there is so much electromagnetic power and electromagnetic energy and electromagnetic charge that it exceeds the power of nuclear energy, including hydrogen bombs. Okay, this is like much more energy than that. Okay, hydrogen bombs, all of them in the world could not compare to like a millisecond of what this thing can produce. Even if they went off at the same time. So therefore, this is nothing to be, ignored, because these things do have lifespans, and when they go off, which is part of their natural process actually, they have a lifespan, which is very long, but still it's a lifespan. But when they finally reach the end of it, they go off into like a supernova, or I don't know what you call a larger thing than a supernova, but it's a huge explosion. And this is a natural cycle for them, because that's not destroying them. That just spreads them all over so that they can, populate more of space. And the crowder, the space gets wherever they are, the more they have to move out and expand. And that's causing the expansion of our entire universe. And not just our universe, but cosmos itself. Okay, because, it starts off with a big bang, and then it has to expand outward in order to accommodate all of this life. Because all of this life needs room to move counterclockwise like that without any conflict. And being that there's so many of them, and there's never a conflict, I've never seen a conflict like orbs colliding or anything, that shows a great degree of intelligence and care. Okay, because they do care about not destroying each other, at least, and colliding and things like that. But some people might argue that that's just a natural process, but I disagree with that, because I've seen these things do so many things that are incredible, and show so many things that are incredible, and that's just not the case. They're highly intelligent, so intelligent that I can't even describe how intelligent they are. and I see the things that they do to avoid being filmed and just being discovered for what they are, that I just can't go along with that. This is just a natural process, and that these things just act the way they do because it's natural for them to do so. Okay, I think everything they do is very, very well planned out and thought out way, way before they acted out. It's probably, thought out thousands and thousands and thousands of years ahead of time. But since they don't exist in time, to them it's all in the moment. It's only, we that exist in time. And to us it seems like thousands of years or billions of years sometimes. But to them it's all now. So they don't worry about things like time, because that doesn't affect them at all. They travel so fast, they can be in the past, present, and future all at the same time. That's how fast they can travel. So they don't worry about time, because to them it's all now. And everything is happening in the moment. I'm just going to back off. Okay, the star's gone too far. I have to reset the camera to try to get it just right. It's also getting light out, so it's going to be harder and harder to see it. Okay, I let it sit there so it can travel over towards the right, meaning it's going northwest, so that you can see the bigger cluster, which is the parent and supporting cluster of that star. Okay, tonight it's at a low frequency rate and a lower velocity. I know it seems fast, but it's a lower velocity than normal. And the more red that you see there in yellow, the more radiation that star is giving off tonight. And that's just tonight and right now. That could change like in a millisecond, because those type of orb clusters, that are nucleuses, they can change their frequency rate like in a blink of an eye, and then everything is different. And that's why no star is the same every night. And this is the same principle for our moon, the Earth's moon I'm talking about. Man, every time I get out here, they're flying over my head. I just hate that. I got no privacy at all. It's like every time I get on my balcony, somebody's flying over my head. Too close. Okay, that's about a good. Okay, I have to hold it. It's going to be a slight shake, but just watch the orbs around it. Okay, because there's not much to see inside the star or even around it, because that, the red. What do you call it? Like the aura around it is it's too dark to see the orbs leaving and coming into the nucleus. Every now and then you might see the thing change and shoot out a few orbs, but for the most part, it's blocking all of that action. So the main thing to see tonight is how the orbs behave around the star, because that's also very important, because they not only feed the nucleus with orbs, that parent cluster just feeds the nucleus with orbs that are exhausted in energy and has them recharged through the nucleus, but also all those orbs keep that star contained, the energy of it contained into a cluster, and that's called the nucleus. Otherwise, if they didn't do that, it's like a containment chamber. If they didn't do that, the energy would just dissipate all over space, and there wouldn't be a nucleus. And a nucleus is necessary to recharge the orbs which have exhausted their energy, and that's its main purpose, and good for us, because without things like that there wouldn't be life on the planet. Like our sun is the same as that star, except it's like maybe 50 times smaller. So every star, shoots out the orbs at 6 points. Okay, and if you put an X through the star, and then put another line right, horizontally through the middle, and those are the 6 positions. So the reason for that is because the star is a hexahedron, and on each side of the hexahedron, the 6 corners, that's where the orbs come out. Okay, they can go in anywhere, but they come out at those 6 points on each side of the hexahedron. So a star has to exist at least in a 6-dimensional space, because a hexahedron, has to have 6 sides, and it has to have 6 points on each side. So at each one of those points and those 6 sides, so that's 6 sides, each with 6 points. At each of them, that's where the orbs shoot out of the nucleus. And so wherever you see a star, you know that it's at least a 6-dimensional space, because each one of those 6 points, 6 sides, is in a separate dimension. When you have a dimension that's more than just one dimensional, like ours, it's 3, then you can see 3 sides, but in a 6-dimensional space, you can see the whole thing. So you would see all the 6 sides and all the points on each of the sides shooting out orbs in a 6-dimensional space. Okay, but the other multidimensional space is created by that cluster all around the star. So just because the star is in a 6-dimensional space, it doesn't mean that the rest of the cluster is. The cluster has many dimensions, and the star is just a nucleus and just one aspect, a minor aspect of that cluster, because that cluster can have multiple nuclei, like it can hold a whole constellation if it's big enough, and this could be just one of the stars in it, or one of the nuclei in it. Okay, so I'll just let you watch that for a while. I'll go closer. You can see a little bit of the orbs coming off the points I was talking about. But that starts producing a lot of radiation tonight. At this moment. And it's not tonight, it's this morning, because it must be, like at least 5:30, maybe 5:45. So I'm holding the camera, that's why there's a slight shake. I'm going to let it go. I have to adjust it. Boy, you can really see the orbs now. Yeah, for those who say there's no other life but here on Earth. I'm not even going to comment on that. It's not worth it. This shows how blind all our scientists have been. Every one of them, for forever. I mean, all those great telescopes and all the other instruments they have, and all the billions and billions of dollars they've invested. It's a shame I had to find out about this with like a 5x2-inch camera. You know, they could have saved themselves a lot of money. But besides that, a whole lot more. They could have saved themselves a whole lot more embarrassment. Because this is embarrassing. That a person like myself with a regular camera, can show just how much they've missed. Okay, that's what it looks like with mini Hubble, or, you know, that's what it looks like in a regular camera. I have done some work to it, but, you know, it wasn't like I invested billions of dollars into it. And this is, anybody can do it. It's not anything special. You just have to, you know, think it out and do it yourself. All you need is a good camera, good lens. You know, you gotta invest some time and some intelligence in thinking this out, how you're gonna do it. And then you're all set. Okay, nothing special about it. The difference between me and all of them is I knew these things were around. I could see them without a camera all over down here on Earth and even in the sky, you know, as far as my eyes could see, but so I knew I was looking for them before I even started, but I wanted to see just how far they extended out. And I even looked for them in the water, but not with a camera. I just did some tests, and they're in the water, just as many as are out here, like this. They're in our oceans and everything, and just the same numbers in the air, on the ground. And I'm definitely positive they're below the ground, especially near the iron core in the center of the Earth and the magma. They're definitely inside the magma chamber. All those electromagnetic tornadoes in the magma chamber are caused by them. These things are responsible for like the hurricanes, tornadoes, all the bad things that happen down here on Earth. They're responsible even for things like volcanoes and earthquakes, because their activity causes those kind of things, you know, whether it's on purpose or just as a result of their activity. All these things are caused by them, like on Jupiter, that large storm that's been lasting 300 years or whatever, that's you know, going counterclockwise. Sorry, that's caused by them. There's another one on Neptune and another one on Uranus. There's one on Saturn. That hexahedron on Saturn, this is all them. There's a hexahedron, by the way, on our moon as well, and our moon is just a baby star. It's just like this thing. If you notice, the yellow has changed now more. It's whiter than before, and the yellow is starting to, you know, dissipate. And it's turning to hot white. So the more that happens, the more that red will disappear around it. Okay, you can see the orbs much better now because it's daylight. but at one point they'll become invisible as soon as the sun comes up. So there's a distinction in the colors, like the white hot there, and that's very hot. The red is hot too, but not as hot as the yellow. Okay, you see some yellow. That's almost as hot as the white part, but not as much. Okay, so these are all frequency differences, and they're electromagnetic frequencies. And the blue is, hotter than the red, but it's not as hot as the yellow or the white. Okay, those are all charged orbs that have already been through the nucleus. And you can see that there are other colors like green, and it's hard to tell their colors now because now they're all going to start becoming blue because the sky is turning blue, and they're all going to assume the blue color because they can change colors so that they become invisible. This is an interesting part right now because as daylight happens more and more, and it gets lighter out, and the sky is turning blue, so are they. You can see that more of them are now blue, and that's why you can't see them unless you're like me. Then you can see them. It doesn't matter what color they are. That doesn't matter to me. I don't know why I can see them, but that's just the way I am. Okay, they can be clear, totally transparent. They can also disassemble a cluster in, a split second, and just go into tiny little pieces. So that's another way they become invisible. And most of the time they just either deflect or reflect light, or turn the color, that makes them invisible. Okay, when they're on Earth down here, that's what they mostly do. They turn into a color that is so well camouflaged into the whatever they're on, into their surrounding environment, that they're next to impossible to see. You have to really know that they're there. But they're everywhere. Okay, you actually have no privacy from these things. They're in your house, they're everywhere. There's just nowhere that I know of that they're not there. Okay, so now you can see that most of them are blue. And I'm getting tired of holding this thing. I just wanted to get to that point. That was an important point to show. Okay, most of them are blue. And as the day progresses, or the morning progresses, and the sky becomes more and more blue, all those black ones will disappear, or whatever color they are. The black, the green, the purplish ones, they'll all turn blue. And then they'll be invisible, and when the sun comes up, the star will become invisible as well, because it'll be flushed out by the light of the sun, because that's the closest star, and that'll predominate the sky. and these stars that are far away will not be visible. Okay, so you can see that they're all blue, almost. Pretty soon they will be, and I'm getting tired of holding this thing on it. And that's my video for today. Okay, April 17th, 2016. It's around 6 a.m. You can hear the birds. Okay, that's it. Thank you for viewing.